I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Village Board for January 28th, 2020. Can you please join us for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I ask that you please remain standing as we would like to honor Berwyn Police Officer Chuck Schauer in a moment of silence at this time. Thank you. Village Clerk, would you please call the roll?
President DeSimone.
Here.
Trustee Carmona.
Here.
Trustee France. Here. Trustee Fry.
Here.
Trustee Penicola.
Here.
Trustee Perez.
Here.
That's 7.
We will move to public comment. Does anyone wish to address the board? If so, please approach the podium and state your name.
No, we didn't get anything.
Seeing no public comment, this will conclude public comment. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the January 14th, 2020 Village Board meeting?
You have a motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any modifications to the minutes? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. The motion carries and minutes are approved. The next item of business is to approve the warrant in the amount of $2,695,500.40. Is there a motion to approve the warrant?
Before we motion, I'm going to recuse myself because it's my business.
Is there a motion to approve the warrant?
You have a motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Could you just explain why?
Yeah, my business is doing the facade grant, so my office is the one that is getting the money.
So you're recusing yourself?
Yeah, I'm recusing myself.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona.
Yes.
Trustee France.
Yes.
Trustee Fry.
Yes.
Trustee Penicola.
Yes.
That's 4.
Motion carries and the warrant is approved. At this time, would the Deputy Village Clerk please read the 16 ordinances and resolutions on the consent agenda that were discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting?
Number 1, ordinance of the Village of Bensenville, DuPage, and Cook Counties, Illinois, amending Section 1-4-3 and Section 4-4-2 of the Bensenville Village Code to regulate the possession, sale, and furnishing of tobacco products, alternative nicotine products, and electronic cigarettes, and the settlement of code violations. 2, ordinance of the Village of Bensenville, DuPage, and Cook Counties, Illinois, amending Title 8, Chapter 6 of the Bensenville Village Code to update the sewers and wastewater treatment code. 3, ordinance authorizing the Village of Bensenville to borrow funds for the Public Water Supply Loan Program. 4, resolution designating the village manager as the authorized representative to sign PWSLP loan application documents and all other documents related to the White Pines Water Main Replacement Project. 5, resolution authorizing the execution of a facility usage rental agreement with Chris Imes Hockey. 6, resolution authorizing a facility usage license agreement with HHD Hockey. 7, resolution authorizing a facility usage license agreement with Legacy Global Sports, Inc. 8, resolution authorizing a facility usage license agreement with 200 by 85 LLC for the Chi-Town Shuffle Youth Hockey Tournament. 9, resolution authorizing execution of a purchase order to Regional Truck Equipment for furnishing and installation of one stainless steel dump truck body to the village's fleet truck number 244 in the not to exceed amount of $18,455. 10, resolution authorizing the execution of a 2-year contract with Stewart Spreading, Inc. for the year 2020 and 2021 for sledge hauling and land application in a not-to-exceed amount of $199,900. 11, resolution authorizing the execution of a 2-year contract with Balanced Environments, Inc. for the 2020-21 park tree removal and stump grinding and restoration program in the not-to-exceed amount of $36,500. 12, resolution authorizing the 2020 approved vendor list for village departments utilizing parts, equipment, and services. 13, resolution authorizing the closeout of motor fuel tax funds to pay for the roadway-related general maintenance in the amount of $265,001.63 from January 1, 2019 to December 31, 2019. 14, resolution authorizing the use of motor fuel tax funds to pay for roadway-related general maintenance in the amount of $390,000 from January 1, 2020 to December 31, 2020. 15, resolution approving a retail sales agreement between the Village of Bensenville and ABI Systems, Inc. for the purchase and installation of high-definition cameras in the Bensenville studios. 16, approval of the termination of an IGA for the teen center between the Bensonville Park District and the Village of Bensonville.
If someone wants to remove items at this time, would you please go ahead and suggest that?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I'd be happy to do this. Item number 2, I'd like to move off the consent agenda and move it to Public Works for discussion. So we have a motion to amend the consent agenda to remove item number 2.
You have a motion?
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of moving item number 2 to the Public Works section, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Item 2 will be moved to Public Works. So is there a motion now to approve the 15 resolutions and ordinances listed on the consent agenda as read by the deputy clerk?
Give a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 5.
Motion carries and items on the consent agenda are approved. Under administration, there's an ordinance of the Village of Bensonville, DuPage, and Cook County, Illinois, approving an agreement by and between the Village of Bensonville and Northeast DuPage Family and Youth Services. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
You have a
Give
motion?
Do I have a second? There being a motion and a second, is there any discussion?
Yes, so item number 16 on the consent agenda terminated the agreement with the Bensonville Park District for the use of the teen center. That was an amicable termination. Now that we have that open space available, we've identified Northeast DuPage Family and Youth Services. They need some office space to conduct their operations. We find this to be a suitable space. So for a nominal fee, we're going to do a 3-month agreement with them, and then it'll go month to month after that. This is a partner organization that greatly assists our police department in domestic issues.
Any questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 5.
The motion carries and ordinance is passed. We do not have a report under Community and Economic Development nor Finance. Under the Police Department, we will now welcome and swear in 2 new police officers, and we will also be recognizing the outstanding performance of police officers in our department. Let's see who we got here. I'd like to call up Adam, is it Cadillac?
Are you mad about the teen center?
Do you need one?
No, I got it. Thanks.
They got it here. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Adam Cadillac,
I, Adam Cavlik,
having been appointed to the position of police officer
have been appointed to the position of police officer
in the Village of Bensonville,
in the Village of Bensonville,
in the counties of DuPage and Cook,
in the counties of DuPage and Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer
of the Village of Bensonville
of the Village of Bensonville
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
His family can come up.
Come on up. Want me to hold it?
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time.
So official. Why not you just close? Yeah.
Brian Madden. How you doing? Good. Nervous? All right. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Brian Madden,
I, Brian Madden,
have been appointed to the position of police officer
having been appointed to the position of police officer
in the Village of Bensonville,
in the Village of Bensonville,
in the counties of DuPage and Cook,
in the counties of DuPage and Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of police officer
the duties of police officer
of the Village of Bensonville
of the Village of Bensonville
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Come on up. You want me to hold it?
Nice.
Oh, thanks. Police officers Christian Casillas and Christopher Staffalt will be awarded the Medal of Valor, and Sergeant Brad Swanson, Sergeant Chris Oliva, and Officer Dexter Steffens will be awarded an honorable mention for their arrest of a suspected bank robbery suspect on December 18th, 2019. Chief, I believe we have a presentation. All
I
you.
wanted to say a few things before we start the presentation. To all the residents that are here, and specifically to the village board. Thank you. To all the residents that are here, and specifically to the village board behind me, I wanted to say thank you. There's a lot of police officers represented here tonight, and they couldn't do what they do without the support of our residents and without the support of the village board. When the police officers, and you saw two of them getting sworn in tonight, show up for work, they don't know if they're going to be crossing kids at a school crossing or chasing an armed bank robber like they did on the 18th of December. So when they show up ready for anything, and they never know where it's going to take them. But knowing that you guys are behind them allows them to make these fast, split-second decisions without wavering. What you see here on the board and what they see on their screens, this is the bank, the U.S. Bank in Wooddale. It came over the radio. I was working that day as an armed bank robbery. He had pointed a gun at the tellers and escaped with money. The next slide, Corey. As the officer pulled up on the scene, Officer Casillas and the other officers that were working started heading toward the bank robber who was being tracked. They ended up catching up to him in Northlake, Illinois. So a little bit out of our jurisdiction, but again, we're going to pursue him and we're going to catch him no matter where he goes, as long as it's safe to do so. As Officer Casillas pulled up, you can see on the screen, it was coming over the radio that he was running by a FedEx truck, and that's the armed bank robber running around the front of the truck as he pulled up. That's what he saw. The next slide. This is Officer Casillas 1 second later, out of his car with the guy at gunpoint, never wavering, never giving it a second thought. He was going right after him. You can still see the bad guy in that frame. If you can go back, Corey, I don't know, can you? You can still see the bank robber's arm. He's running alongside the FedEx truck. So that's how close he was behind him. Now the next one, please. As he chased him, another squad car came around the corner and captured this video. That's Officer Casillas taking him down at gunpoint between the FedEx truck. And what I forgot to point out is earlier on, you can see Detective Staffeld is running along the other side of the FedEx truck. He's in that first frame as well. Next one, Corey. And this is what you would see if you were standing there. That's the armed bank robber is now pinned over the truck, and they're holding him and patting him down and handcuffing him, and that's the bag with the money that we were tracking. So all this unfolded and happened in a matter of seconds. And again, when Officer Casillas, Detective Staffeld, Sergeant Swanson, Sergeant Oliva, and Officer Steffens showed up for work that day, they didn't know if they were going to be crossing kids at a school crossing or doing this. But they never gave it a second thought. But again, thank you for your unwavering support, because we couldn't do what we do without you guys behind us. So now I'd like to present the Medal of Valor, which is the highest award that I can offer. to Officer Casillas and Detective Staffeld. And Sergeant Swanson is here as well. The other two officers had prior commitments, couldn't make it. I'd like to give them some awards. You can bring your family up too if you want. I'll take this out and you can hold it up and Mary would grab a picture of you and I'll grab a picture for you.
This is Officer Casillas, sorry. We'll do a few pictures with his family.
Chris Staffeld, are you here somewhere? You wanna bring your mom up? I saw your mom. You don't wanna come up?
All day, I look horrible.
That's not true, you should come up.
This is Officer Staffelt.
This is Detective Staffeld, and Corey, if you can wind
Detective,
that
sorry.
back, I think it's only fair. If you can wind it back for the very first frame. That's Detective Staffeld in the corner, running alongside the other side of the truck to go up and capture him, so. Chris, congratulations. Congratulations. Certainly not least.
Sergeant Swanson.
Detective Sergeant Swanson heads up our detective unit. He immediately went to the scene as a supervisor so he could make command decisions on the scene with if the officers had questions or if, God forbid, there was a shooting or something, we have a supervisor on scene that can make instant decisions. And Brad is certainly one of the best. So you guys want to take a picture? Come on. Come on up.
Nobody's gonna take your coat, you'll be all right.
Is it a room full of police officers?
At this time, we do not have any Public Works reports.
No, that's, we moved item number 2 to Public Works.
Are we going to that now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So we do have one.
Do.
Ordinance of the Village of Bensenville, DuPage, and Cook County, Illinois, amending Title 8, Chapter 6 of the Bensenville Village Code to update the sewers and wastewater treatment code. We just moved this one to Public Works. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
We gonna talk about this one?
It is difficult to follow up the police and a Medal of Valor with a sewer ordinance, but that is the nature of our work here at the Village of Bensenville. I'll let the officers clear out real quick so they don't bore themselves with this discussion. At the committee meeting, we approved the sewer ordinance as presented tonight. Since that time, there have been a few minor changes. I'll let Public Works Director Joe Karachi discuss those changes.
Thank you very much. Really, there's been one change into a table that's listed in the ordinance. It's the local limits section of the ordinance, which is under section 8-6-5-5. Again, these are local limits that are setting the limits of what our wastewater treatment plant can accept. There were 4 pollutants on that list that unfortunately did not get updated with the new ordinance that should have been. These new limits were posted and talked about at a public hearing back last year, so it was just really a Scrivener's error to correct at this board meeting. Those 4 pollutants are chromium, which will change from a 26 milligram per liter limit to a 15.5 milligram per liter limit. Chromium hexavalent, which will go from a 2.8 milligrams per liter to 2.0 milligrams per liter. Copper will go from 3.0 milligrams per liter to 2.0 milligrams per liter. And silver, which will go from 5 milligrams per liter to 3 milligrams per liter. So again, we wanted to catch this before we made a formal approval of the ordinance, so we don't have to go back and change it later. So I
If you
appreciate the
recall,
time.
these changes occur about once every 10 years, so we want to make sure we get it right. And unless anyone has any objections to our chromium or chromium hexavalent numbers, I think.
So we already have a motion, and we also have a second on that. Any questions? So call the roll, please.
Let's just do a quick motion to approve the amendments.
All right, can I have a
As
motion to
presented.
approve the amendments that were presented by Mr. Karachi? Do
Motion.
I have a second? Do
Second.
we have any questions? We do all in favor, you want to do a roll? Roll call, please.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 5.
The motion carries and the amendment is passed.
So then now the motion would be to approve the ordinances amended.
Okay. May I have a motion now to approve the amended ordinance?
You have a motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 5.
Motion carries. Moving on, again, nothing in recreation. Moving on to presidential remarks. The village has partnered with Elgin Recycling to offer holiday light recycling free of charge. Bring any type of holiday lights, including LEDs, Italian mini lights, and rope lights, working or not, to the village hall or public works for recycling. Bins are located indoors and are only available for drop-off during business hours. The recycling program will run until the end of February. Also, the U.S. Census Bureau is currently hiring 34,000 part-time positions for the Chicago region. Temporary census positions offer the perfect opportunity to earn extra money while helping your community. The positions will last several weeks and feature competitive wages, weekly paychecks, flexible hours, and paid training. Please see our website for more information and the census application link. Also, I believe we have a proclamation, so would the deputy clerk please read the proclamation? Oh, I'll read the proclamation. Proclamation in recognition of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. dedicated his life to the idea that acts of nonviolence was the premier avenue for social change. Whereas Dr. King advanced the cause of social change for all people. And whereas Dr. King instilled in us that it is far better to love than hate, to seek justice rather than revenge, to refrain from acts of violence and not condone those who engage in it or profess hatred for any people, group, or race. And whereas Dr. King was a leader whose life and message influenced this nation to integrate peacefully. Now, therefore, I, Village President Frank D. Simone, proclaim January 28th, 2020, a day of official recognition of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the Village of Bensenville, and urge our citizens to rededicate themselves to the principle of justice and equality for all. Presented this date, January 28th, 2020. Is there a motion to support the proclamation?
You have a motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
There being a motion and a second, any discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 5.
Motion carries. Village Manager's report.
I have none this evening, thank you.
Village Attorney's report.
I have no report, Mr. President.
Is there any unfinished business to come before the board tonight? Is there any new business to come before the board tonight? Do we have a need for executive session?
There is not, Mr. President.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
You have a motion?
Do I have a second?
You have a second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.